Hello and welcome to Box to Board, and tonight we are going to look at Things from the Flood, which is the follow-up to Tales from the Loop. It is darker, it is grittier, it is set in the 90s that never was, and it's kind of awesome. So let's have a look. If you've picked up Tales from the Flood, you'll recognise the style, you'll recognise the game mechanics, very similar, but this is definitely a darker beast. So you get a bit about what life was like after the flood, then the loop, Swedish sort of aspect, the American aspect, a bit about the teen, so really aimed at the PC. The trouble, which is kind of some of the core mechanics of the game. Then we look at a little bit about a mystery and how that works. We get mystery landscape, and then one of the nice things about this is you get these. You effectively get you get a campaign, a short campaign, which is well worked through and really quite nice. So, game as before features incredible artwork, but it is so much darker and grimmer this time. It's just unnerving, and there's definitely a horror aspect to this game. If you want there to be, it is not the childlike thing that we had before. I mean, one of the things that's interesting is the basic principles. It says here the principles of the game are: everything changes, everything falls apart, every day is full of demands, boredom and conflict. Mysteries are exciting but dangerous, and only you can stop them. You're neither kids nor adults. The game is played scene by scene, and the world is described collaboratively. And those are the basic principles of how the game works. But it's interesting, everything falls apart. There's this sense of things falling apart, and there's a whole rise of different things. So there was the Golden Age, then there's this flood, which hit quite hard, and basically there was a leak somewhere near one of the loop tunnels, and there's all kinds of rumours about it. We also get this thing called the machine cancer, which gives these weird sort of blech kind of things. The truth behind the machine cancer is really interesting, and there's sort of bits and pieces which are quite nice, and we get a whole different sort of bits to it. We get a bit, the loop. We get a bit about Sweden in the 90s. What's going on? It's so much darker. You can see that in the images and the pictures. This is not the 90s quite as we remember it, but it's interesting. Definitely is interesting. So, and you're playing as somebody who's a bit older, and there are some differences in this. So you can die in this one, and you get scars, and it's a little bit edgier. It's quite a lot edgier. Hoover Dam area. So Boulder. Just look at that. You get this whole thing about what's going on, how things have worked out. There's 90s are a time of conspiracy theories. That's reflected in the game. The teen is an interesting thing. You get this. So you're playing somebody who's I think it's 15 to 19, 14 to 19 years old. So you're a little bit older than you were in the previous one. And this time, I mean, there's more variety. There's more people available. So you get hacker, jock. Each one has got an iconic item, skills, problem, suggested problems, drive, suggested shame, suggested relationships to other teams, to NPCs, hooks. You can look at another point later on in the book. The anchor and the typical names, and all these kind of add flavour. So we get the hacker, the jock, the lone wolf, the motorhead, the party animal, the raver, the seeker, the rocker, the snob, the street kid. We've got those sort of stereotypes, and then you can continue as a kid from the Tales from the Loop as well, so you can take your character and run with them forward. There's some adjustments need to be done to do that, and it describes how to do those. And if you're familiar with Tales from the Flood, if you've played Tales from the Flood, this will feel very familiar. The look of it feels very familiar, and it feels seamless. There's not it's like an expansion almost, but it's kind of hard to explain. Just it feels so different. One big difference is the scars. So every time you become broken, you are physically or mentally scarred by the ordeal. Describe your scar with one sentence. Okay, so you can describe it, and then, just like you basically can. Where are we at? You roll. So after every scar you receive, after the first one, you roll a dice. If the result is lower than the number of scars you have, your team is removed from play. If you have 2 scars, you need to roll 2. 3 scars, you need to roll 3, and so on. Your team is removed from, depending on the situation, you decide what happens together with the group. They may die instantly. They may become so gravely injured that they die at hospital. They may vanish without a trace. They could live, but is so affected by the trauma that the parents elect to move out of town, that maybe they're taken into custody by authorities and placed in a foster home. So you can lose a player. So this is quite different. So you can die in this game now, which is very different. Which is kind of interesting. Kind of adds a little bit of an edge to it. And you can voluntarily take scars to to grant an automatic success on a dice roll, if you can explain how the scar would help you. So that's a decision you're going to have to make in game, which is quite interesting. Now you also have this idea of friction. So all teams in the group have the same friction, but it affects you all differently. So you can heal conditions in the same way as you would. I can't get it. Okay. So the gist of it is that friction can come in, and I'm trying to remember. What it does. Okay. The GM cannot put you in trouble while you're resolving friction, but a team in the group is free to do so, for example, by starting an argument within the group. So some interesting bits to that. So yeah, some pretty interesting bits and pieces. So then one of the things that we do, then we come into the whole business of trouble and how that works. So conditions and dice rolls. Dice rolls work the same way as they did before. So you basically are you grab a number of dice equal to your score, add the dice equal to your level, and then you roll them, and it's looking at 6s for success. So the more dice you roll, the better your chances. There's shame, which is quite an interesting thing. If I can find it, you can add extra dice using shame. You can also use your shame once per mystery to score an automatic success. And you can, so that's kind of one of the things. And then you can sort of do other things like buy-in effects and different bits and pieces. But it's a fairly straightforward system. And you can sort of see they've fleshed it out a little bit. They've changed it a little bit, but it's kind of quite cool. And they've put in a few bits and pieces like, teen v teen. So you can kind of argue, and there's a bit about extended trouble again, which there was before. Bit about skills, not much difference here, to be honest. I could pick up. I'm probably completely wrong. Leadership is new. I think is new, which gives you the ability to heal. And yeah, there's some other sort of bits and pieces that are, it's fairly standard to what it was. Then we get the mystery. And this is all from the GM onwards. So well marked out, players should not read past this point. Okay, so if you're a player, don't look if you're planning on playing. So there's a bit about what the truth of the mysteries are, mysteries in everyday life, individual versus group scenes, and then a bit about introducing teens, introducing mysteries. Really goes through it in quite a lot of detail. Confrontation, aftermath. I really like the way they do this system. It feels like it's elegant enough that I'm not going to be worrying too much about what I'm exactly trying to do, but it's, you know, it's easy to use. It's a narrative focus. It's quite flexible. We look at sort of advanced GM techniques and some stuff here which I thought was quite interesting. How to build a flow chart, dream sequences, and things that are advanced. You know, they've brought in some more advanced ideas, bringing in horror into it, and then the mystery landscape, which again is very familiar from the previous Tales from the Loop, and this idea of collaborative storytelling, how that works. It's a really interesting, you know, system. It's kind of like I really like this, and you know, there's different sort of bits going on that kind of makes sense. Then we get into the actual campaigns as such. So this is Prophets of Pandora, and this kind of is the backdrop for what's going on with this. So we get the next wee bit. So we get the Flesh and Steel, which is one. I'm not going to go into these because it would spoil it a bit for people, but you can see there's, you know, there's a good amount of detail here for GM to run with. But the artwork is just superb again. If anything, it's slightly more it is more unnerving. It's creepier, but it's kind of beautiful at the same time. It's but there's a whole load of stuff there that you can see, and I'm just going to flick through that very quickly, because you've got, you know, you can lift this, you can play this. You know, this is the whole package, which is kind of cool, and I kind of like. And then we have sort of all the fairly standard things and bits and pieces here. So yeah, very, very nice indeed, as ever. And I have to say, I am very, very, very impressed with this again. Well done. Now, while I'm here, I'm just going to pick up, I'm going to show you the screen that I got as well, and the map, because you may as well see the screen more so than the map. Oh, the map's there as well. So there's a map that does both sides, Boulder City and the Swedish one, and this is the screen. Now, the screen looks awesome whenever it's opened. I'll try and get that back as far as we can, so you can see. It's just, from the one side, lovely. On the inside, it's functional. It's really quite. It's not. Some screens are. I think the layout of this is okay. I think it's effective. For this game, it really is, because this is not a complex, crunchy game. So there's some bits and pieces here about making a mystery, facing a cruel world, which is how, you know, you can get people to deal with things like conditions and scars, and dealing with scars. Whenever it comes down to rolling dice, what kind of things to be aware of, which is the rules summary in the middle, and this sort of rolling dice crunchy bit, as crunchy as it gets. So bonus, it just remind you what bonuses you can add, and the number of sixes required and all that kind of stuff. I think it's a nice piece. I picked up because I like a good screen. I just do. Do you need this? Probably not in this game, to be honest, because it's such a narrative game that I don't think you do. However, it is nice to have a screen, and you know, actually one of the things I like about this is it's not too unwieldy. It's quite a reasonable size whenever it's out, so it's not too bad. It's kind of, yeah, I like that. I think it's pretty good. But do you absolutely need it? Nah. Is it nice? Yeah. So there you have it. Things from the Loop. Quick first look. Elegant storytelling based system. Weird world. A little bit darker, a little bit edgier than previous. Quite exciting. if you've played Tales from the Loop, it'll be very familiar, but it'll feel unnervingly unfamiliar. There'll be a little unnerving in there, which is kind of cool and kind of excellent. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and have a great day.